Hey, how's it going, guys? We are back with yet another reaction, a new reaction for Marvel's Hawkeye. This time on to episode number 5. Episode number 4, we had a really interesting one, a really good one. Very Clint and Kate kind of centric and showcasing a bit more of them as people and their kind of growing kind of dynamic together, which is always fun, always so fun during the show so far. So that was cool. We had him kind of teaching her some cool tricks with the arrows and some hand-eye coordination kind of tricks too, like with the coins and everything. So that was fun. And then some deeper, a bit more emotional stuff between them two. Clint actually explaining that his best shot as an archer is the one that he never took, the one that he was ordered to take by Shield on Natasha when she ended up on their radar, but then he never took it. He saw someone who wanted to get out of the life that had put her on Shield's radar, and then he opted not to take the shot instead and helped her defect from the KGB to Shield. So not killing Natasha was the best shot that he ever took, and as we see from the past dozen or so, from the past pretty much like 24 MCU movies we've seen, or at least the ones that she's been in, we've seen that it does in fact pan out. So yeah, so that kind of stuff. We had them kind of working towards tracking down Maya in the end too. They actually found Maya's apartment and kind of set off some alarms in there. So then it was Maya versus Kate, but then some kind of some kind of mystery masked figure attacked Clint on the roof, and then that later on that person was revealed to be none other than Yelena. So she's finally here. She is finally here. She finally debuted very, very briefly in the show. My head, very, very briefly, but she finally debuted. So got a bit of an ulcer on my tongue, so it's going to make it hard to talk during this video, and pretty much until it clears up. So that's fun. So yeah, so we had that kind of stuff. So yeah, very, 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 very brief glimpse. I think I'm going forward into this episode. I'm hoping, such expecting to see a bit more of her and seeing what she's been up to and seeing exactly how she's going to go about completing this new assignment that she's got from Valentina to kill Clint and everything. So that should be fun. But we have that. We have some interesting things. I think so some stuff I actually forgot to mention. I think I forgot to write them down as a whole, but then I actually forgot to mention them in the review too. I think some little tidbits that were mentioned, and then some other things that people then started to kind of speculate on after the episode too. So I think for one thing, Clint mentioned that the watch that was actually physically linked to the Avengers compound key code thing actually belonged to an old friend of his. So then I think that kind of got me, like, even in the moment, that got me wondering, like, who could that old friend be? Like someone from within Shield, or like probably not within the Avengers, because I think not many of the Avengers would wear watches or anything. But besides from Tony, maybe to Tony and maybe Steve, that would probably be it. But then it couldn't be one of them. But then I think he mentioned like an old friend of his from back in the day, or like an old friend of his. So probably like someone who's like even older than the Avengers. So then had to be someone from within Shield. So and also people have also been speculating that that Laura Barton could have been a Mockingbird. I think people now saying like Mockingbird itself could be just like a title offered to whoever kind of fits into the role, and the one that we know who most thoroughly has fit into the role, even in live action, is of course Bobby Morse from Agents of Shield. She literally was created and written to be Mockingbird, so that's her. And even in comic canon, Bobby Morse is Mockingbird. But then some have now gone on to think that maybe Laura could be maybe Laura could have been like a retired ex-Shield agent who also went by the Mockingbird mantle, and maybe that's how she and Clint met back in the day too. Like maybe like they met in their early days at Shield, and then they got married and had a family, and then he kept on being Hawkeye, but then she retired, and she chose to retire and actually kind of help raise the family and everything. So maybe she could have been a Mockingbird. So I don't know where the hell they're gonna go with that, but I think on the one hand it would kind of it would kind of lend a hand to explaining exactly how she knows so much and how she's so kind of in tune and in touch with all of the Shield stuff going on, even the tracksuit stuff going on, and how she knows all about this stuff. Because then Clint indulging is one thing, but then You know, Clint confiding is one thing. Him confiding in her is one thing, but then actually telling her all this information too. It's like how much would she want to know? You know, if she wasn't a shield agent, then you know, exactly how much would she want to know? Exactly how much would she be comfortable with knowing? But then if she actually knows the ins and outs as a whole, then maybe she's actually got like a bit more of a history to her than we know about. So I don't know what to think of it just yet. I mean, if they're gonna do Mockingbird, I would much rather they actually actually bring Bobby Morse back, because then there's plenty more of her that we could see. There is easily so much more of her we could see. Bring Hunter back as well, bring Hunter and Bobby back, but like bring them both back as kind of, I mean, Bobby would be the ex-Shield agent, but then Hunter only ever really became a Shield agent in the actual show, so you know, either way, bring them both back. Either way, bring them both back. That would be fun. That would be really, really great. You know, canonize them in Shield's history and also in Clint's history as well. Have Bobby be the old friend that maybe had the watch, or Bobby being like an old Shield contact. He might kind of, I mean, she would easily be able to help out with this kind of stuff. She would easily be able to help out. So, you know, do what you can. But yeah, I don't know if they are really gonna go forward with this whole thing with Clint's wife, or if they're gonna, you know, do something else with her. But either way, Laura Barton, I think maybe there's more to her than we know. Maybe there isn't, but that's just something it's been talked about, and it's been talked about pretty heavily. So there's that, and then of course the watch too. So there's that. And yeah, I think, was there anything else? I'm not too sure. I think there was some kind of, there was a bit where what's her name, Eleanor made a call to someone, like a really mystery call after I think it might have been after Clint left, or after Kate left or something. Like she made like a mystery call to someone, like in like a really ominous way. So people are theorizing that could be Uncle. Like if she really is the villain that they're speculating her to be, then she could be contacting Uncle, aka Kingpin, potentially Kingpin, and actually trying to barter some kind of deal with him, because then maybe she could have been the one who actually got, you know, him to actually send maybe she could have been the one, or maybe she contacted Valentina. Maybe she had connections to Val, and she contacted Valentina, and then she finally actually told her, oh, like, Clint Button is in New York, he actually just came to my apartment, so, you know, have your assassin track him down. So then, because then Clint did say that, you know, a Black Widow assassin had been sent to kill him. So, you know, Eleanor finally called it in, and then Val sent Yelena after him, and things went sideways. So maybe we don't know just yet. But I think Eleanor so far is actually proving to kind of be, you know, like have more going on under kind of her skin than she's actually letting on so far. So really intrigued to see where she goes from here. And then of course, you know, Jack just has his usual kind of ominousness and his usual villainy kind of like vibes going on. So that's really just normal for him. So I guess we'll see where we all go from here, but that is pretty much all I've kind of remember that I needed to talk about, that I forgot last time. So there's that. The LARPers returned, and they made a deal with Kate to actually get the arrows back and to make her some new suits and to do all sorts of things with her Hawkeye related. So that's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've actually managed to remember from the last one. So on to episode number 5, on to the reaction. And you guys know the drill by now. This one will just be the fair use version with the edits and everything, but if you want the full-length version, that one will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. So yeah, Marvel's Hawkeye, episode 5. Let's go. Don't you dare do that whistling. Don't you dare play that whistling. Oh god, Yelena's theme. Oh, is she with another widow? She's with another widow. Okay. This is in 2018. Oh, just completely missed with the saucer. Do it. 2018. So this would have been Infinity War, right? This would have been Infinity War. This would have been maybe the snap. Are we gonna see Yelena get dusted? Okay. Oh yeah, so she's an ex-widow, need to be unlocked and everything.
The next bit is gonna be really scary, but we're here to help you.
I don't think she was brainwashed.
What, you thought I was some rich pervert's prisoner?
So she wasn't a widow?
Well, yeah, kind of. So how many widows have you helped?
Oh, she's an ex-widow, but she just wasn't brainwashed. Okay.
Many.
Okay.
Many. It's hard watching them wake.
But worth it, though.
So worth it.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
Cleared up all of
freedom
this mess,
to all those who deserve
we
it.
will make good lives for ourselves.
And then you and Natasha will be reunited and go live your Sex in the City fantasy in New York.
A Sex in the City fantasy. And she got a new vest. Oh, she got a new vest too. She got a different vest. Yeah, because she gave hers to Nat. Yelena got dusted. She did. She blipped. She just came back. She blipped. Anna's still here. Anna's still here.
Who's that, Mommy?
And she has a family.
Sweetie, she's an old friend.
5 years later, goddamn.
Married?
I was in there for 5 seconds. I come out and I've lost 5 years of my life. Please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Elena. I was just trying to help you.
This is a lot to take in. Damn, that is. I think that's a take we've never actually seen before. Seeing them actually blip back as soon as they've actually come through. Yeah, that happened quick. That was a quick like cut from Yelena's perspective. Oh, she doesn't know about Natasha. She doesn't know about Natasha. Pain. Pain, 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 and more pain. Oh, she even has a Hawkeye poster. There are Hawkeye posters.
Think you were a superhero. I really thought I could be one of them.
An Avenger or a hero?
Don't beat yourself up.
Because there's a difference between the two.
We found a lot of incriminating stuff about Jack, Mom. Including this shell company that he has called Sloan Limited.
She's gonna know about it, isn't
Maybe
she?
there's a reason.
She's gonna know about
Oh,
it. She's gonna have a
but
hand in
just
all of this somehow.
Please, just promise me that you'll look into it. That's all I ask.
Oh boy, Jesus, yeah. That sofa is beyond gone. Is that her? Oh,
Hi.
hey, how you
I made
doing?
macaroni if you want some. You have one fork?
I'm one person.
That's so weird.
What if you need to use it again after you've already used
This
it?
is not cutlery.
I am not gonna just sit and have dinner with you after you tried to kill me and then just broke into my house.
I did not try to kill you. A, I put you on a wire to remove an obstacle. And B, I did not break anything. I'm way too talented than that. And C,
I love how much thicker her accent's gotten too, yeah.
I promise.
Oh,
I don't have any
goodness.
weapons on me. In all honesty, if I wanted to kill you, I
You would have already.
right as you open the door.
Yeah, but probably wouldn't have even had time to shut it.
No.
I'd have been dead.
No.
Okay.
She's so different now. She's so much cooler, so much funnier. Yeah, like a definite kind of Alexi vibe, like an Alexi, like you know, wittiness about her, like an Alexi suaveness about her. Yeah, I love that.
Are you done?
Yeah.
I go?
Sure can.
I can put hot sauce on it?
Hot sauce on mac and cheese.
I
Really?
love
Is that a
hot
good
sauce.
combo? Oh, she's straight out of the pot too. No plates.
So what
Probably
do
only
you
has one plate. So.
It's my first time in New York. But it's a business trip. The new and improved Statue of Liberty.
The new and improved Statue of Liberty.
The Rockefeller Center.
She wants to go sightseeing.
What, it's not good?
Oh no, they're great.
She's not
Yeah,
just an
you gotta see
assassin,
the tree.
Kate. She got a personality.
Exactly. I love American Christmases. The tree, the presents, the super-powered reindeer. You know? He's so weird. Have you ever eaten reindeer?
He's so cute.
Are you in New York to talk to Clint? Is that why you're here?
No. I'm here to kill him.
So casual about it. No, I'm just here to, you know, kill him dead.
I have a question for you.
That's pretty much it.
He saved the world.
My sister saved the world. Natasha Romanoff, she saved the world.
Please say it again. You know what? Forget. I'm just gonna rewind it
Stop pretending
afterwards.
like you're not
Yeah, I'm just gonna
surprised.
rewind it
Does not look
afterwards.
cool. You kill me again. Oh, Kate Bishop, you are so funny. That's hilarious. That one is the funniest.
Florence is honestly carrying this episode. Literally, not even like 10 minutes of screen time. She's already carrying this episode.
When you face the kind of threats that he has, there's going to be collateral damage.
My sister is gone because of him.
Okay, to be fair, you don't know that, Yelena.
No,
You
there's
don't know
none.
that.
She's gone. So, where is he?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh god, if looks could kill. Oh god, that made my heart jump. That made my heart skip a beat, honestly. Oh boy.
Do not get in my way again.
Oh. She just really jumps out the window. Yep. Oh, just yeah, she's got the cable. Ta-ta. See you later. Oh boy, that was intense. God, I love her so much. I love her.
Missy dropped off the new outfits for you and Kate. You want to see them?
The new suits.
You know I do. Just
The new suits.
not right now.
They got the new suits. Oh, they got new suits. Are they nice and bright and purple? Are they comic accurate? Do they have masks? Did Kate give her design sketch on like the napkin and everything with the H and everything? Or is it something else entirely?
I'm telling you, the only Sloane I've ever known was this woman I dated in Palm Beach, and she was an absolute nightmare.
Oh, so she actually looked into it and she called the cops on
Blame
him.
me for calling the police, darling.
Battle of New York Memorial on the site. The Avengers first assembled. Steve, Tony, Thor, Bruce, Natasha, Clint. There we go. So there's an Avengers Memorial plaque. Yeah.
Natasha.
Oh, he wants to tune the rest of the world out while he makes.
I know.
Oh.
You were the bravest of us all. Loyal, stubborn. You always had to win, didn't you? I've replayed that a million times in my head, hoping for a different outcome. But I do my best every day.
Oh, don't bring that music back. It hurts. The music hurts. The music hurts.
Just want to say, I miss you. And I'm so sorry for what I'm about to do.
What is he about to do?
Whatever, I'm still learning.
Oh.
Do you think I want to do this, Clint? You think I want to leave all these messages like a crazy person? No, this is your fault. This isn't over, Barton. I'm gonna find you.
Wait 1 second, please. Let me put on brass knuckles so I can punch your
Oh no, an arrow to the windshield. Oh, a message arrow. It's just a messenger arrow. It's a messenger arrow. Okay, it's not meant to go all the way through. Maya, meet me tonight where you first met the Ronin.
We need to talk.
Oh. Well, no fun conversations ever started that way.
Yeah, that isn't enough to fill anyone with anxiety. Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before the big guy gets involved.
The big guy, Uncle.
Jesus. Are you sure?
So does she know about the big guy? Does she know about Uncle?
Sinking feeling.
I trust your judgment. Do what you have to do. And know that I'll always understand more than anybody else ever could.
Understand. Understand what?
You. Go ahead and
Oh, is he gonna dress up as Ronin? He's got the suit. Is he gonna actually go dress up as Ronin? Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Let's talk.
Okay, let's not talk. Oh, Ronin is here. Ronin is present. Oh. Oh, that was a horror movie shot right there. Oh, this turned into a horror movie. This fully turned into a horror movie. Ronin is the fucking predator. Oh, damn. Oh. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, jeez. Oh my god, that's definitely Clint.
But if you or anyone comes after me, my family, it'll be the last thing you do.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Well, I mean, to be fair, you took down her family first.
And I were the same.
Tipped off by an informant. Works for your boss. Oh.
Yes. Your.
Uncle called the hit on the tracksuit mafia.
Now he's using.
Oh. Oh, gee. Oh. Oh, Kate. That would be Kate. Kate, yeah. Uncle Cord, gee, that changes things, doesn't it? That changes things.
Hey, are you Tabitha?
Yes.
All right, hop on in.
Oh, she called an Uber. She called an Uber. Oh, who can she? Oh yeah, who can she trust? Who can she trust? If the order came from the top, then who can she really trust? Can she trust Kazi? Can she trust anyone? Was he the informant? Was Kazi the informant from Uncle? Yeah, because he was tipped off by an informant. Oh, could Kazi have been the informant? He is the one warning her to stay away from Ronin, because then she might find out the truth and get tracked back to Uncle. So he has to keep her from finding out about Uncle. Yeah, he was the informant. He had to have been the informant.
You remember the girl from last night, the one in the mask? I spoke to her. She said she's Natasha's sister.
Yeah.
Yelena.
Oh, you know her then?
Yeah.
He knows Yelena. He knows about Yelena. Did Natasha tell him about her family? Her Russian family? I don't know. What are you up to? Oh, Yelena. Oh, I'm loving her casual outfits. I'm loving her casual outfits. Yeah. Not even the hair too, with the short. Oh God, looks so cool. Kate Bishop. I found out who hired me. Eleanor Bishop. Thought you deserved to know. It was. Oh, Yelena was hired by Eleanor.
Kate?
Yelena was hired by Eleanor.
Who's that with my mom?
Well, that's the guy I've been worried about this whole time.
The big guy, the uncle.
Kingpin.
Wilson Fisk. He's uncle. He's Kingpin. They confirmed it. It's Kingpin. It's Wilson Fisk. Great. That is great. That is really great. Yeah, Kingpin. He's coming. Kingpin is a coming. Is there a post-credit scene for this? Is there a post-credit or a mid-credit scene? I mean, that ending alone is some pretty big stuff, but is there like a... Is there a mid-credit or post thing for this? I don't know. I don't think so. Either way, gonna let it run out. Gonna let it play out. Either way. Okay. Oh, that was good. Oh, that's good. That is very good. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with that ending first, because that's fairly fresh in my mind. We got Kingpin. We have not only Kingpin. I mean, I highly fucking doubt there's any other kind of Kingpin in the Marvel comics canon, or even in the Marvel universe. I mean, maybe like an alternate universe, he's someone else, but at least in the mainstream and in the MCU as we know it, he is played by Vincent D'Onofrio. He is Vincent D'Onofrio playing Wilson Fisk, who is Kingpin, and that was definitely Vincent D'Onofrio. For one thing, that picture was kind of clear enough to know that's definitely Vincent D'Onofrio in the picture. But then also, I think in the credits I did very slightly spot. Hold on, I forgot to put it on a loop. I forgot to put the Daredevil team on a loop. I need to put it on a loop. There we go. Yeah. So it was clear enough there that we could actually kind of see it, and the name Vincent D'Onofrio was actually listed in the credits too. So yeah, I mean, in terms of actual kind of like canonicity, and also like actual kind of crediting the actor as the same person, as playing the same person and everything, I think in terms of that, I think they first did an Endgame with actually bringing a character from the TV shows into the actual larger movie universe with Edwin Jarvis in Endgame too. Like he was introduced, so this is the same actor too, James Darcy, and he played Jarvis in Agent Carter, and then he actually came back to play him ever so briefly in Endgame as well. So I think that then confirmed that, you know, Agent Carter then actually took place within the same universe. So that's fun. Now we have confirmation that Vincent D'Onofrio is Wilson Fisk in the MCU too. He is Kingpin in the MCU too. So I mean, that kind of brings me into like a separate thing where like I think I actually might have mentioned this before. I think in like a separate video, like in like another reaction or something. But there was for No Way Home, at least I think in as part of promotion for No Way Home, Kevin Feige did confirm that, you know, anytime whenever we do see Daredevil in the future of the MCU and in the movies especially, he will be played by Charlie Cox. He will be Matt Murdock, and he will be played by Charlie Cox. So Charlie Cox is officially the larger MCU's Daredevil as well. Like, no rebooting, no recasting. Just, I mean, maybe some slight soft rebooting for whatever purposes, but for the most, for majority wise, it will be Charlie Cox playing the Matt Murdock that we're familiar with and that we love so much, and it'll be him playing Daredevil. So now I'm really excited to see No Way Home, to see if that might be how they confirm it too. Because I mean, if they're confirming Kingpin, like if they're confirming Vincent D'Onofrio coming back as Kingpin in this, then I'm really all the more curious to see if they actually might bring back Charlie Cox as Matt Murdock, even if it's not Daredevil, even if he's not Daredevil in the movie. Like if they do bring him back, then they may as well be bringing him back as actual Matt Murdock, because then Peter would definitely need some legal help with all the stuff that he's going through. So that would be a really, really fun cameo to see. So I really can't. I already can't wait to see No Way Home. I already can't wait to see No Way Home. But it'll be even more. I just bit my tongue. Right on the ulcer. It'll be even more exciting to see if Charlie Cox does show up as Matt Murdock in the movie too. So yeah. But now we have official confirmation that Kingpin. I mean, even Hawkeye even called him Kingpin too. He stopped calling him Uncle at that point. He stopped calling him Uncle. He said, that is Kingpin. That is the guy. That is the big guy at the top. I was right. But although to be fair, only Kazi and Maya call him Uncle. Only Kazi and Maya actually know him and call him Uncle. Because I think Maya grew up calling him Uncle because that's what her dad referred to him as and everything. So he was kind of Uncle Fisk and Uncle Wilson and everything. So he was Uncle to them. But then to everyone else, he's either the big guy or he's Kingpin. So, but even this time, he didn't even call him the big guy. He called him Kingpin. He fully called him Kingpin. So. Yeah, that is a really, really cool confirmation to have, and like a hell of a way to end the episode too. So. Yeah, hell of a reveal, like not even actual kind of, not even Yelena actually having recorded any kind of footage of her in the office or anything, like an actual quick kind of snapshot taken from an angle, neatly framing the both of them in the frame and everything, so that was fun. So Kingpin is here, so I think, yeah, I mean, bringing him back in the penultimate episode too, because I think episode 6 next week, I think, is meant to be the finale. I think next week being Christmas too, I think it's meant to be the finale, and it should take place like on Christmas or around Christmas. So, I don't know how much Wilson Fisk they're gonna be able to give us in the finale. Like, I mean, to be fair, they gave us like 5, maybe 10 minutes of Yelena in the last episode before they gave us like a proper full-length scene of her in this episode. So to be fair, they could do the same thing with Kingpin too. Give us a picture of him in this episode, and then in the next episode, we actually see him coming along and actually interacting with Clint and maybe Kate as well, and him actually being the Kingpin and everything. So I'm really curious because I haven't watched Daredevil season 3 in over a couple of years. I think I might have rewatched season 3 once after I watched it the first time. But even then, it's back in like 2019 or 18 or something. So still been like a good couple of years since I watched it. But then even then, I still remember. I think Kingpin was arrested. I think Matt. I mean that finale, like that Daredevil season 3 finale, just blew half the fandom out of the water with its kind of ending and the story and some of its performances. But that ending, I'm pretty sure, I think Matt did kind of do the right thing, and he did hand Fisk over to the authorities and everything. So he was arrested. Fisk was arrested. Fisk and Vanessa, I think might have been arrested separately. I don't know if Vanessa. I think Matt threatened him. With arresting Vanessa too. But I think otherwise, I think she might have just been taken into police custody, but not arrested, because she might have been. They still likely needed to interrogate her, but. Yeah, they definitely re-arrested him. So there was that whole thing. So he had been arrested and presumably taken to prison. So. There was that. I mean, Daredevil season 3. I mean, that whole ending was kind of shambolic. In the sense that. That was when the show was officially announced to be on the verge of cancellation, and people were reacting to the Daredevil finale with the hashtag Save Daredevil. And I think the cancellation too, like as Netflix usually does, Netflix themselves actually cancelled the plans to actually start producing season 4. But like the people at Marvel actually had a fully fleshed out ideas and stories and plans for like a season 4, which included actually bringing Bullseye in with his actual costume and everything like that. Like they actually had plans for a fully fleshed out season 4, but then Netflix didn't really want to go through with it, so then they scrapped it, and then they slowly started kind of snapping all the Netflix shows out of existence and everything. So yeah, so I am very interested to see how they continue Kingpin's story here after it ended off in Daredevil season 3, to see what he's been up to, how he escaped police custody and the bars of a prison cell yet again, how he got himself into like a shiny new white suit, and how he became the Kingpin again and everything, especially because he's clearly had a history with Maya too. He actually did maybe as one of many different crime syndicates, he actually did control the Tracksuit Mafia from like the early years of their kind of formation and their kind of build up in the criminal underworld. So Kingpin has been busy. He has been a busy boy. So I want to see just how busy he's been, and also I just want to see him again. I just want to see what Kingpin's been up to and how he's actually going to fit into the finale of this, and see if maybe even he is going to be worthy enough to warrant a second season or some kind of continuation of the story. Because I wonder maybe if similar to how Captain America 4 is going to be a movie following on from the events of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I wonder if there's going to be like a Hawkeye movie starring with Kate in the lead, but following on from this season. So this one is like its own limited run thing, but then what we get after this is an actual kind of full-length, like feature-length movie with Kate actually officially picking up the Hawkeye mantle and being the new Hawkeye and everything. So maybe that's how it might go, and then maybe she might face Kingpin in that. Maybe she actually might face Kingpin in that. So maybe that's what they might set up to. Kingpin versus Hawkeye. So that would just be a wow. That'd be a wow. But yeah, I mean, bringing Kingpin into the MCU does offer a lot of different opportunities too. I think, because I think Kingpin is also majorly a Spider-Man villain. Kingpin is also majorly a Spider-Man villain. So seeing Tom Holland's Spidey actually eventually building up to facing him, I think, especially since I think the kind of theory is that I think now a new trilogy with Marvel has been confirmed by Sony. Sony actually confirmed that they are working on a new kind of MCU Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland. So that one I think is meant to be like the college trilogy. So that one is meant to be one where he actually starts maturing, and that's when he actually starts kind of building up to being the Spider-Man that I think more people should know and recognize a bit more from the comics, and a bit more from much deeper, much later kind of deeper and darker tone kind of stories and everything. So in those stories, maybe that's when he just starts to discover more and more criminal underground elements, and more kind of enemies, and more kind of people that are really kind of dangerous to be reckoned with, and then one of those people is Kingpin. So then that might be the trilogy that introduces Kingpin and Spidey, Kingpin versus Spider-Man. That would that would be one hell of a battle. So I would really be curious to see this Kingpin meet Spider-Man. I would really be curious, and I think especially because now they're bringing Kingpin into the larger MCU now with this. I think it would be really interesting to see them finally being able to reference and actually have characters like Kingpin acknowledging the larger MCU without any kind of consequence, or without any kind of precautionary kind of mentality about connecting with other kind of entities and other kind of beings and everything. So having him talk about the Avengers and talk about Daredevil and Spider-Man. I mean, I really hope he actually he references Daredevil in the next one. I really hope he at least like references him or mentions him or something. So that would be cool. Maybe if he mentions them, but then he doesn't say a name, but then Hawkeye's like, oh, you mean the Daredevil? So actually showing that even he knows who the Daredevil is, so then even like an Avenger knows who Daredevil is and who they are and everything. Because I mean, they know Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a street level hero, so there's no reason they really shouldn't know any other street level heroes either. So, and I think there was that line in Homecoming from Tony too, like Tony saying that taking on the Vulture is way below their pay grade. So there's actually other people who handle that kind of thing. So people are like, oh, the Defenders, like they are the street level heroes. They're the ones who can actually handle stuff that isn't really alien invasion level kind of. Like they handle Defenders level threats. They don't handle Avengers level threats. So that would be them. So Kingpin would be a Defenders level threat. That would be them. So Yeah, I don't know. Oh, there's just so much I want to see, so much they can do. It's just so much to think about. It's so much to think about. Even like we got like a 10-second glimpse at like a like a mid quality picture of him, and we're already wondering how far like how much we can get, how much they can do, and how far they might be willing to go and everything. So it's a hell of a journey. It's a hell of a journey. But yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio is Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. So, and they even call him again. They call him the Kingpin too. I think the Kingpin. They didn't even start using that name for him until season 3. They did not start using that. And they did not start using that name for him. Even in season 3, they mentioned it was just a code name. But they didn't even start using that name for him until like halfway through season 3. I just bit my author again. They did not use that. They did not again. Yeah, you know what I said. You know what I said. So, yeah. So yeah, having Clint kind of call him the Kingpin was a very, very kind of a cool thing to hear. Like not even him saying like. I mean, it could have been like hearing him say Fisk could have been cool too. But I think hearing him say Kingpin is like a much more kind of solid, like hard hitting kind of thing. Because he is the Kingpin. He is the Kingpin. So. Yeah, and it turns out the Kingpin uncle actually called the Ronin hit on the Tracksuit Mafia as well. Like I think he gave the information to Kazi. I think Kazi has to be the informant. Kazi has got to be the informant. Like they are setting him up way too obviously, and I think that is also like a more acceptably obvious kind of setup for him to be someone suspicious. Like it's not like making Jack more ominous than he needs to be, or even making Eleanor more secretive than she needs to be. But it's like actually like with Kazi, him being the informant, that would make it would make sense. It's actually plausible and everything. So. You know, he fed the information to Ronin through Kazi, and then Kazi was the informant for Ronin, and then Ronin went along and actually killed the Tracksuit Mafia. So yes, I think for whatever reason, Kingpin. I'd say for whatever reason, but I think even from watching, I think even again, I think chances are I might need to try and actually see if I can go back and rewatch the Daredevil series in some way, season by season. But then even there, like even from my vaguest memories, I can still remember Kingpin killing anyone who crossed him in any way, like anyone who crossed him, anyone who disappointed him, anyone who embarrassed him. Yeah, if you ever embarrass Kingpin, may God have mercy on your soul and your head and your face and everything from the neck up. May God have mercy on all of it. If you know, then you know. If you know what happens to you when you embarrass Kingpin, then you fucking well know that. Yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing Maya's dad never embarrassed Kingpin. It's a good thing he never embarrassed Kingpin, because if it is, then Kingpin, if he ever embarrassed Kingpin, then he would have done the job himself. He would have actually invited him into a car, drove him out somewhere remote and isolated, and then just did the job himself. But no, he whatever he did, he didn't embarrass him. So embarrassing him is the last thing you want to do. Embarrassing him is one thing. Embarrassing him in front of Vanessa. But wow, yeah. So if you know, you know. If you know, then you know. But but I think either way, I think Maya's dad must have kind of disappointed him or screwed up or messed up somehow within the organization. He just kind of felt like he's dead weight, or he's not really worth keeping around or something like that. So then he fed the information to Ronin through Kazi, and then Kazi tipped him off, and then Ronin showed up, and I think it kind of makes you wonder, did Kingpin give that information knowing that Maya wouldn't be there? Like did he know that Maya wouldn't get there until later on? Did he actually do it in a way that he knew that Maya wouldn't be there at that time? Did he actually do it not knowing whether Maya would survive or not? Or because if she survived, and then if she survives, but then she comes back to that, then that obviously is going to raise a lot more questions with her. So then he can't really risk her running too deep into this and actually, discovering more and more things. So then I don't know, because then if she survived, then I think maybe he's just like, oh, I guess we can just kind of see, what happens from here and see how we actually do things from here. But otherwise, it's like, otherwise it's like, like maybe he sees potential in her. Maybe he actually sees potential in Maya, but then her father and the people working with him and around him are the ones who are the issue. So then he actually deliberately tries to either he sends her out for something, or he tries to, he actually knows their kind of schedules throughout the day. So then he actually, or orders the hit to take place on like during a time when he knows that she's gonna be out, and gives Ronin enough time to actually get in, do his thing, and get out and everything. So which it did, as we saw, like just in the nick of time. So yeah, but no, Uncle killed Maya's father, so then that kind of raises a lot more questions with her too. You know, kind of raises a lot more questions with that, but then it also knowing that like thinking now, because then again, like she even said that, you know, like Kazi was not there, like that meeting. I mean, because I think it was clearly a meeting that took place at that kind of at that car kind of warehouse place where Ronin killed them all. Like it was clearly a meeting that took place, which Ronin then ambushed and he killed them all. So then, you know, her question being like, why was Kazi not there that night? Like if it was actually like a meeting for the whole squad, I think maybe that's why even she showed up. Like so then maybe she wasn't called away, but maybe she was just away at home. But then she was called in for a meeting by her father, and then he didn't even know what was happening, and then he just all of a sudden he just gets attacked by Ronin. So then maybe she was on the way to the meeting, but then she was the last one there or something. So then she wasn't really meant to walk in on that, maybe. But either way, Kazi wasn't there. He claims he was never called or something. So he you know, he wasn't there. But then, you know, he was on who tipped them off, so he would know not to be there. But I mean, even if he was there, I think, you know, unless it was like a really anonymous tip off that like in a way that, you know, in a way that Ronin like never saw the tipper's face, and maybe it was like a really like a super anonymous tip off. So then he didn't know that it was actually Kazi who did it. But then Kazi knows that Kazi was who did it. So I don't even know, but either way, so she knows that now. She knows that Uncle was the one who killed her father, who ordered her father to be killed. And I think in that kind of style, though, I think one of the deaths that shocked me the most, in that style, one of the deaths that has shocked me the most. I can't remember what her name was, right? But Poindexter, the guy who was Bullseye, I can't remember what his first name was, but I think his last name was Poindexter. Poindexter, his ex-girlfriend, I think, technically, or at least like in like the woman he was interested in, the woman he had like a vague-ish kind of history with, but then he was also kind of presently interested in. And then even once they actually kind of somewhat established a relationship too, it was when Kingpin found out they were together that he then saw her as a distraction to him and to Bullseye's usefulness and his talents to Kingpin, and Kingpin was actually worried that he'd lose Bullseye to love or something else, so then he actually ordered her to be killed by secret assassins working inside the building too. Like that death kind of caught me out of nowhere. Like she just walks into a hallway and then gets her brains blown out not 2 seconds later. So then that one took me away. Like that one was so quick, so sudden, so, you know, just so spontaneous. It took me out of nowhere. I mean, again, thinking about how it happened and why it happened, it started to make sense. But then still, like the actual execution itself was just so sudden and so quick and clean and casual that it just blew me away. Like her character was dead just like that. To think about it still shocks me. But again, that is how Kingpin works too. He orders hits, he watches them go down, and then he actually, you know, he orders the stuff to be cleaned up afterwards too. So yeah, again, Kingpin is not really one to be trifled with, but then if you cross his bad side too, then he will take you out just like that. He is the Thanos without the actual finger snapping or the actual stones. He is essentially like if he wants you dead, he will have you dead, either by his own hand, which will be a lot more brutal and a lot more slower, or he will actually hire assassins to actually take you out and everything. So there's that. So that's that's that. So Kazi must have been the informant too. So I think that then that's gonna make Maya start kind of wondering exactly how much of their relationship and how much of their kind of friendship and history has been the truth, and how long he's been lying to her, and then like the fact that he got her father killed and their old crew killed as well. So there's going to be a lot of questions firing off in Maya's mind of like her boss wanted her dad dead, but then her supposedly her best friend and her, you know, like her translator and everything actually got her, like actually helped get her father dead and everything. So it's going to be a hell of a conversation to have. It's going to be a hell of a discussion. So yeah. And then of course we had the one, the only, the dashing, charming, the handsome, the gorgeous, the deadly, the, I already said dashing, the innocent, the completely innocent and sweet. She could absolutely murder you, but she's also completely innocent and sweet and everything, down to her very core. Yelena Belova. We finally had Yelena. I think the episode itself opened up with Yelena. I was surprised we had no recap to open everything up, but it was actually a nice little kind of preview of where she had been at before, and it was actually 2018 too. I think as soon as I saw 2018, I was wondering 2018. Okay, so where does this line up with the timeline? Then I was like, wait, isn't that Infinity War? I think Infinity War was meant to be 2018? And I was like, oh no, are we gonna see some snippety snapping? Are we gonna see some snapping happening? Are we gonna see some blipping and some dusting and some vanishing and some disappearing going on here? Are we gonna see this? I just bit my alpha again. Oh god. Oh yeah, I am. Oh yeah, talking. Who would have known? Talking makes you bite your tongue a bit more, especially if you got like an injury or some kind of a cold sore or something on your tongue. So, yeah, ulcer, even ulcer, not cold sore, an ulcer. So, yeah, so yeah, I think the general theory, I think since Black Widow came out, and Yelena's story and her time and her place in the MCU has been unveiled, it's been pretty much speculated that she may as well have been dusted, and not only may she have been dusted as well, but Natasha would have found this out, and then she would have spent the next 5 years mourning Yelena and possibly even Alexei and Marlene too, maybe even both of them being dusted, so yeah, so all of her original family being dusted off and her being stuck trying to keep the Avengers together and everything, because that's the last thing she's got going on, so even her having to go 5 years knowing that her sister and her parents are actually dead and everything, so then, like, I think people then theorizing that, that would have been the last thought on her mind on Vormir before she died. Like that would have been the motivating factor. If she does this, Yelena and her parents can come back, but Yelena especially, but then also potentially her parents can actually come back and they can live life as well. So I think that would have been the last thought on her mind. Like her saying whatever it takes. Then she may as well have been thinking about bringing Yelena back and having her. Pardon me, back safe and sound. But yeah, no, so I mean, the episode started off, with them actually breaking into a former widow's house and trying to, to free her with the gas and everything. So it was like a cool thing having the lines from Black Widow actually running over to, like, her talking about the gas and talking about freeing the widows and everything, because then that, from Black Widow onwards, like, that was Yelena and the Alexei and Melena's new mission too, to actually go around the world tracking down and hunting down other widows using the info that Natasha picked up, and then actually freeing them and fully wiping out the Red Room program altogether. So there was that too. But then I think the one they found was definitely a former widow, but she just hadn't been brainwashed. Like, she'd been brainwashed in the same way that Natasha had been brainwashed, with pure psychological kind of torture, but just not actual chemical control or anything like that. So the gas didn't really work on her in the same way, because it didn't need to. She literally still even had the same skills and stuff and the same kind of combat and retaliation stuff, but then she just hadn't been chemically controlled or anything, so the gas did next to nothing on her. So there was that. So then I was wondering, like, oh, okay, maybe this isn't going to be dusting, because then that scene started to follow a completely different context, where it's like, oh, she's just kind of talking to an older widow, and actually maybe this scene is just meant to set up Yelena's kind of time between now and Black Widow, so maybe it's just about, like, actual kind of backstory or something. But then no, then Yelena goes into the bathroom and then goes to wash her hands, and then as soon as she does, then she blips. Then she actually turns to dust and blips back again. So that's when that happens. And yeah, and I mean, we've seen different takes on the blip. We've seen different kind of takes on the actual blip itself, like the dusting. The first ever take we saw of the dusting was nothing if not terrifying and, like, horror movie style to look at, like that kind of visual of people, of random people. I mean, relatively random people, like people who still had, obviously the more you thought about it, the more you realize, oh, these are people still with stories to tell, people who clearly are the future of the MCU, and they've left the old ones behind, but still relatively random people being wiped off the map and being taken away like that. Like I think that visual, and again, like the dusting itself and how much chaos it even caused in its aftermath too was still pretty scary to think about and scary to look at and everything. But then we've seen it, but then even since then we've seen various different takes on the blip too, like people coming back. I think in Far From Home we saw how people blip back in the exact same spot that they were in afterwards too. So I think people who disappeared reappeared in the exact same spots and in the exact same locations and everything. So they kind of took that too realistically in the history animation version, whereas like, you know, people who were in planes were just kind of materialized in the air and they just dropped down onto the sea or something. But then the Russos actually confirmed that Hulk made it so that they would all come back, but then even anyone who was in like a plane or anyone who was in like anyone who would return into a potentially hazardous environmental situation would actually return safely on the ground instead. So they covered that up nicely. But yeah, I think we've seen that, and then I think in WandaVision was the first time we saw it in a Disney Plus show. WandaVision was the first time we saw like the return happening in a Disney Plus show. Like one of the openings for an episode of that one was actually Monica herself being returned back and everything, and then she walked through the hallway and she was constantly bumping into people who were returning and reforming and everything. So there was that one, but this one is easily the quickest one we've seen. This one was a blip. This was a blip interpretation. I think for the first time, minus Monica's one, for the first time, this was the actual blip from the perspective of someone who was blipped. So for her, it's like, you know, for like she's in there for like 5 seconds, she blips out, she feels herself kind of disappearing and dusting, and then 5 seconds later, whoop, straight back again. So literally just like that in like an actual snap. So this is the first time we've actually seen like what that could be like in Yelena's case, and even the environment around her changing too, to actually show that it's actually been 5 years too. So like the actual kind of wallpaper, kind of like the tiling going away and the wallpaper coming in, and the actual color of the walls changing, and her actually walking into an entirely different kind of looking room, and then she walks back in on Anna and her family too, and Anna's still luckily Anna's still there, and she's actually then surprised by like, wow, Yelena, you came back, it's been 5 years, everyone disappeared and you were one of them, but then you came back. I mean, Yelena disappeared, but then the other widow that she was with, the other widow she was with actually stayed behind, and she actually still left the house, but then she wasn't dusted, so only Yelena was dusted out of the two of them. So there was that too. So yeah, but I think that kind of take on the blip too, I think that is that is easily, on the one hand, the scariest, but then on the other hand, the most intriguing take on the blip too, of like actually seeing the blip happen from the perspective of a person who actually was a blip, because like, you know, like they go away and they come back again what feels like 5 seconds later. So, you know, because even you know, like I think even for even Peter in Endgame, even the way he described it, like for him, you know, it's like he didn't even feel like he died. He thought he passed out, because like for him it was like 5 minutes. So he for him, like he came to 5 minutes later. So he thought he literally passed out before he found out what already happened. So then there was that. But then like I think with this one, this is easily the most kind of accurate and most interesting and most kind of, you know, kind of thought provoking kind of like, or at least like thought lingering kind of visual of someone being blipped and coming back five seconds later and actually finding out just how much has actually changed throughout this entire kind of time. So yeah, that was a really cool opening, And then yeah, we had Yelena at Kate's apartment too. That was a very, very fun sequence. That was a very fun kind of 10-15 minute kind of scene. Split apart only by Clint walking down the street later on. So there was that. So Yelena just kind of camping out at Kate's apartment waiting for her. Like she was camped out at Kate's apartment waiting for her, and then actually kind of slinking out of the shadows very, very slowly and quickly and everything. So slowly and quickly, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But no, she was there, and she, again, I love Yelena. I 10 minutes in this damn episode, I feel like she carried like a good half of the episode. She easily carried at least the good half of the episode. Like Yelena, Florence, as per usual, just amazing. As per usual, just amazing. But Yelena as well. There is like such a cool, such a cool new suaveness and such a cool new kind of a cool new energy and like a cool new kind of movement to her that seems really appropriate and also seems really kind of fitting for her too. I think it's very reminiscent of Alexei from Black Widow. His kind of attitude was very kind of suave and very kind of cool. But I think with him it was more obvious, kind of like in like a dad way, whereas with Yelena it's kind of like it's, you know, I want to say in a daddy way, but then she's a daddy in other ways. Oh god, yeah, you know, I don't care. I said it. But no, she's she's okay, I need to get that out of my head now. But then she's God, what was I actually gonna say? I had to make that joke. I just had to make that joke, which is, in truth, it was half a statement. It was at least half a statement. But no, but she has like that like I think she has Alexei's general kind of humor and general kind of actual kind of confidence that he has. Like I think the same confidence that we saw him having in front of those prisoners in the actual prison scene. We saw him having there, like that is near enough the same kind of style and level of confidence that we see her having here. Like her even continuously calling Kate Bishop. Like she never once calls her Kate or even Bishop. She always calls her Kate Bishop. Like even her accent seems thicker too. So I don't know if Florence herself has actually taken up some more dialect training or more accent training, or if she's actually trying to show that, you know, Yelena is apparently somewhat more Russian this time around. But I think her accent in this one, definitely seems like a lot more kind of audibly thicker than like compared to her Black Widow accent too. Like in her Black Widow accent, it just seemed more like an actual casual kind of Russian accent. But with this one, it's like, you know, she actually does really kind of over enunciate some words in her accent a bit more too. So it's really cool. It's really cool. A lot of what she does is really cool. She looks great too. She looks great. I think she looks great with her hair down or her hair up. With her hair up in a bun and some little kind of trails running down her side, she looks amazing. With her hair all completely down as well, she looks just phenomenal. She looks amazing. Even her jacket and her jewelry and her rings and her everything, just her style. God, Yelena, what are you doing to me? But no, yeah, no, she's just great, and I think she made mac and cheese in a pot. She made mac and cheese in like a pot, and she just refuted. And she complained about Kate's lack of any actual kind of proper cutlery or even actual quantifiable cutlery being in her kitchen in the first place. So then chances are she would have only had like one plate or like one kind of small silver saucer to use as a plate or something. So she just like they just kind of ate mac and cheese out of a pot. I mean, she broke into Yelena's apartment and then actually made dinner, and then waited for Yelena to come home, and then had dinner with Yelena. Waited for Kate to come home, then waited, then had dinner with Kate, and then had a chat and everything. This was essentially dinner between, you know, Kate and Yelena, and you know, not to, I guess whether or not you ship them, I don't even know if now's the right time to get into that kind of a discussion. But you know, for the record though, Yelena is ace. She is ace. She is asexual. So whatever you're doing, you know, like no matter who you're shipping her, if you are like whether or not you're shipping her to begin with, whoever you're shipping her with, just keep that in mind. She is asexual. Okay, like canonically in the actual comics as well, she is confirmed by the character herself to be ace. So, you know, if Marvel knows the right thing to do, they will canonize that in the show and in the larger MCU as well. They will canonize that. But yeah, I think, you know, you can likely, you know, you have the power and the ability and the freedom to ship her with whoever you want to ship her with, but just, you know, keep her asexuality in mind when you do. And, you know, I'd say the same kind of advice goes towards Marvel too. Actually, you know, if whatever you can do with her, just keep that side of her kind of respected and acknowledged and treated as, you know, still equal and worthy and everything. So yeah, I think but I mean, I've seen a couple of I've seen a couple of things here and there of people shipping her and Kate, and I think most people are doing it in like an okay way, but then others are still saying, like, you know, just remember she is ace, so do it in like a way that's actually respectable and still, you know, still kind of like actually treats her ace side as acknowledged and respected and everything. So there's that. So again, just do that. But I mean, even then, I think there was nothing even slightly kind of romantic or like anything kind of like that kind of like anything that really went in that direction with this. It was like, I think with this, I don't even know if you can call this platonic, because I think she wasn't there as a friend. Yelena definitely wasn't there as a friend. I think maybe just like barely there as an acquaintance, most obviously there as someone who just really wasn't there to even kill her. She definitely wasn't there to kill her, because again, they even emphasized that piece, because even Kate questioned whether she was there to kill her or not, and then Yelena was like, honey, I could have killed you right when you walked through that door, and I could have left straight afterwards. So no, I'm not here to kill you. So there's that. But she really was just there to kind of make dinner for her, just so that she wouldn't go hungry, but then also to actually have a chat about Clint and Natasha and then about all the stuff going on with Clint and everything, and actually explaining why she was there too. I think even the way she so casually said, "I'm here to kill him," like she didn't even actually like lean forward and look her in the eyes and be like, "I'm here to kill Clint Barton." She just said, "Oh, I'm here to kill him," and then just kind of stuffed her face full of a bit more mac and cheese and everything. So she had the most casual and most calm kind of outlook on actually killing him, and actually announcing that to Kate too. Actually telling her, because again, she's not worried about Kate. She had no reason to be. She is a fully trained professional Black Widow, so she can kill pretty much anyone who comes between her and Clint, and even if that is Kate. So she is more than prepared to handle whatever comes her way. But I think that entire scene was really just her kind of on the one hand telling Kate that she knows everything about Kate, and then she knows about her background and her people and her history and everything. So then she knows all of that stuff. So she knows how to track down Kate, and she even knows where she lives, and now she knows how to track down Kate and how to find her if she needs to. But then also knowing that Kate is working with Clint, she also needs to actually solidify that connection, actually find out where Clint was too. So there was that. In general, she definitely has that vibe of like, she's a professional assassin, she's a professional trained killer, and she knows it, and she knows that no one can fuck with her, and she fully relishes in that fact too. Like even even when she reveals that she's Natasha's sister, and then Kate's like, oh, you're Natasha's sister? Oh, it's a good thing I didn't kill you then. She's like, again, honey, you could not kill me if you tried with as many weapons as even if I gave you all of my weapons, you still wouldn't be able to kill me. Even if I gave you all my tools, you still wouldn't be able to kill me. So her just constantly like laughing it off, and like guffawing in laughter, and actually having fun with that was really, really good to see. Like her general attitude during that entire scene, and her general kind of like demeanor, and her kind of overall vibe was just something like I really, really digged. So props to Florence for actually selling that so naturally and so authentically and everything. She really knows his character through and through. She really nails his character through and through. So she's just really really fun to watch on screen, and to actually see her do her thing as Yelena is nothing if not a pleasure. So there's that. There's definitely that. But then I think it was also really good to see her so fluidly going from kind of casual and laughing and kind of almost murdery to then being so sincere and so straightforward and so kind of straight to the point too, with her talking about Clint and how he's not a hero, and how like Avenger means less than nothing these days, and how it's just like how it's now just a word that people use to describe things that they like, and how it doesn't actually hold any more value. And I think especially for Yelena, after Natasha died, the word Avenger really meant nothing to her, especially now, because now, again, the Avengers are gone. The Avengers are all pretty much all gone. Like, half of them are dead, half of them are retired and out on other worlds and everything, and literally only one of them is still, I think, assuming that Steve really is on the moon, literally only one of them is still alive and on Earth, and that is Bruce, and he's going to be showing up in She-Hulk at some point. So there's that. But then like the Avengers are all gone now. The Avengers are now only here in memory. So now until the new team of Avengers forms like 5 or 6 years from now, that's all we got. We got nothing. So yeah. And then I think for Yelena too, like her knowing that her sister being an Avenger, her sister being a hero, and her sister believing in kind of like sacrificing her life for something greater. Because I think that was even like a speech that Alexei tried to give to Natasha as well, like about how like you should always believe in something greater than yourself and be willing to give your life for something greater than yourself. And then she eventually did and everything. So there was that. But with Yelena, I think she's still kind of torn, and she's still kind of like now. But I think with Yelena as well, it's like, you know, again, I think for the most part she was fine visiting Natasha's grave and kind of wallow and actually kind of being in her own grief and being consumed by her own grief in a more private, more isolated, more kind of, you know, like a relatively healthy manner. But then Valentina came along and actually manipulated that grief. She took that grief and weaponized it, and she showed her a picture of Clint as Ronin, and then that was it. So she deliberately needs Clint out of the picture. Like she deliberately needs Ronin out, Clint Barton, like a former Avenger, out of the picture. And she needs Yelena to be the one to do it, because then like the connection between them two is Natasha. Now she's gone, and now she knows that if Yelena can do this in the most brutal and most kind of savage ways possible, then that would really kind of prove her to be like a worthy candidate to whatever new team that Valentina is clearly building. So yeah, I think Yelena, I think she kind of does, I think she did kind of make some kind of really kind of excellent points here about like heroism and avenging, and how the two can't really properly correlate, and how even Clint Barton can't really be a hero, and how like his past kind of negates that, and how, you know, people can and will kind of call him and think of him as a hero all they want, but then the truth is that he's still, you know, not even not just a perfect guy, but, you know, he's still he's still like an enemy in her eyes too. So there's that whole thing. And then Clint knows about Yelena too. I think Kate mentioned to him in the car that she mentioned that Natasha's sister had popped by, like someone had actually popped by and talked to her. Like, well, she said the woman, the woman in the mask from last night actually popped by and talked to her and everything, and then she mentioned, oh, she's actually Natasha's sister, but she never mentioned her name. But then Clint was like, Yelena and everything. So then it's like, oh, he knows, I think. And then that kind of got me wondering, like, oh, so then there must have been a point. There must have been a point that, you know, I mean, especially because in terms of friendships, like the only other friendship strong enough compared to Steve and Natasha that Natasha actually had was of course was of course Natasha and Clint. Like Natasha and Clint were essentially kind of like in terms of friendship, maybe like the Fitzsimmons of the Avengers team, like them two, like in the sense of them being like old Shield buddies and old Shield kind of co-workers and everything, who then kind of graduated and became Avengers and everything. So then they I think because of that, like, you know, especially with Natasha knowing about his family, there's a good enough chance that eventually at some point Natasha would have confided in him about her family, about her sister Yelena, and her mother and father and everything, and like the whole kind of cover life she had, and how they all still kind of went on to become various KGB people and everything. So like she easily would have told her about her parents, but then also about Yelena as well. So then Clint knows about Yelena, and she maybe that was even his first time meeting her too, like her randomly attacking him on a rooftop and everything. So there was that, but he knows. I think that is going to make the coming interactions in the next episode all the more exciting to see and all the more intriguing to see. So that'll be fun. And there's an Avengers memorial plaque too. There's a memorial plaque thing outside of some building somewhere, where it's like, oh, in memorial of the Battle of New York, and it's like on this day. I think if I can actually go back to it, right? I think if I can actually go back and check it again, if I can just fast forward to that scene. Yeah, Battle of New York Memorial. Yeah, is the Avengers symbol there too. Yeah. So yeah, on this site in 2012, during the Battle of New York, the Avengers first assembled: Steve Rogers, Tony Stark, Thor Odinson, Bruce Banner, Natasha Romanoff, and Clint Barton. So I love that for Thor they actually use Odinson too, because to me, it very rarely occurs to me that Odinson is actually his actual last name. Like I think for Loki, Laufeyson sometimes comes to mind, but then for Thor, the way I usually hear them refer to him is Thor, son of Odin, not specifically Thor Odinson. But then he actually does sometimes use that. So then, like actually seeing it there, kind of, you know, feels a bit weird, because I think usually he does go for the full formality of Thor, or Thor, son of Odin, or Thor, god of thunder, or something. But then with this one, it's like, you know, Thor Odinson. I think, you know, like that does make like just as much sense to use as well. So there's that. But yeah, the original 6. I think that kind of like that whole memorial plaque being there is a really cool sign. It's like I think NYC historical cultural monument. I think the fine print says historical cultural monuments. I think that is like an actual kind of like an actual kind of solidification of the day that the city almost fell. But then a group of remarkable people came together to fight the battles that no one else could. So that is really cool. That is a really cool Easter egg and everything. So, well, not really like an Easter egg, but still, like, it's like a really cool kind of tidbit to know that official plaque is there, actually commemorating the first assembling of the Avengers and everything. Like the first Avengers 2, the first group, their biggest assembly being an Endgame when all the heroes of Earth actually assembled to take on Thanos and his army and everything. But 2012 was the first big one. Really cool, but then of course you'd think the emotion wouldn't really come, or you'd think the emotion would stop there, but no, it doesn't. The emotion keeps on coming. The emotion just keeps on coming, and it just doesn't stop coming. That's when Clint takes out his hearing aid. I thought he was just gonna tear it. He's gonna just turn it off or something. But then no, he actually takes it out of his ear, so he can't hear anything else. He tunes the entire rest of the world out, so it's all muffled and tunneled and all that kind of stuff. But then he takes it out so that he takes it out so then he can only hear himself, and he can only hear himself talking to Natasha too. But then he actually needs to talk to Natasha. He's probably staring at her name on that plaque the entire time. So he never cut back. It only ever actually showed his face the entire time. But actually, it never actually cut back. But still safe to presume that he actually was talking to her the entire time, like actually looking at her name the entire time too. So he was talking to Natasha, and he was apologizing and saying he missed her and that he didn't know what to do, and he still needed her to come and kick him in the ass to give him the quick kind of booster that he needed usually after things like this. So he was just talking about how much he missed her and how much he actually wanted to see her again, how much he needed to see her again to actually get a sense of all this and everything. So I think this episode as a whole, from both Clint's side being somewhat the briefest with that plaque, but then also Yelena's side being somewhat more fleshed out with her disappearance and then her coming back and then her finding out the truth and then her even talking to Kate as well. I think this episode alone has done quite the fair amount in actually being like an actual episode in memoriam of Natasha as well, and actually paying some sense of more present day respect to her character after her demise too, because I think her movie felt like her movie honestly felt less like an actual like besides from the ending, or at least like besides the post-credit scene, the post-credit scene being the only thing that actually gave us any sense of an actual send-off, or any sense of an actual goodbye. But like her movie itself seemed a lot more like it was like an actual fill in the blanks thing for for an early stage of her life, which it technically was, with it being set right before Infinity War. So because of that, I think this one, I think in terms of actually remembering her and actually paying respects to her, I think this episode and pretty much anything set after Endgame that references Natasha will be what really kind of works to pay respects to her, and then her movie will just kind of be like the kind of fill in the blanks thing we should have got years ago, but we're only really getting now. So there's that, but I'm really glad we got that. I'm really glad that we got that, and I'm really glad that they actually allowed Clint to actually have that moment and to actually go to the plaque and actually have that moment and talk and do things over and everything. So that was really, really lovely to see. So that was really sweet. And one other thing that actually just occurred to me, I was actually just thinking about in other places we've seen Kingpin in the Marvel universe and like in Marvel media and everything, and then I just remembered Kingpin was the villain, he was the main villain, the main antagonist in Into the Spider-Verse. And do you want to know who else played a Marvel superhero that fought Kingpin in that movie as well? A certain Gwen Stacy, who was voiced by none other than Haley Steinfeld herself. Haley Steinfeld voiced Gwen Stacy in that movie. She played Spider-Gwen, and she also helped the other Spider people fight Kingpin and his band of merry misfits and everything. So, she goes up. So Haley. I think this would be her second time playing a character who actually goes up against Kingpin this time too. So yeah, just like a fun little kind of tidbit that I actually just remembered that, oh yeah, she actually fought Kingpin. She played yet another character in that movie that actually fought Kingpin as well. So yeah, but you know, admittedly, this one, the live action one, isn't as big as that Kingpin was. I mean, because that one was animated, so you could really make it as big as you want him to be. But with this one, he's still fairly bulky, and he's still fairly kind of, you know, fit for the character. But still, he's nowhere near as, I think he's nowhere near as actual big as most kind of comic media makes him out to be, which I think in some cases might be a bit like a tiny bit impossible too, especially given how what his actual strength to fat ratio actually is too. Like he actually has like an actual, I think he actually has an actual sumo wrestler's kind of body build, but then his body, like his muscle to fat ratio is like, I think like 0 to 1 or something. So he's actually like that much more muscle and muscle mass than he is fat mass and everything. So yeah, but either way, Vincent D'Onofrio has been nailing Kingpin since day one, so I really can't wait to see how he actually goes forward in this story, and how he actually brings Kingpin forward into the MCU with this show as well. So it'll be really fun to see that. And yeah, I think now we have official confirmation that Eleanor is actually not as innocent as she seems. I think now people who theorize that Eleanor could be the main villain or could be the obvious villain can now pat themselves on the back, knowing that Eleanor is now in cahoots with Kingpin. She's in cahoots with Kingpin. That would make for a fun game mode on Jack Party Box or something. Or Jackbox Party or Jack Party. That game, they're like a really fun game mode. Cahoots with Kingpin. So yeah, or even Kahoot with Kingpin. So yeah, either way, she's in cahoots with Kingpin. So now the whole innocence act can be stripped away from her completely. So now, and then there's that, and then also the fact that now, Yelena also confirming to Kate that Eleanor was the one who actually hired her to try and kill Clint too. So now, we know that Eleanor actually wants Clint dead because he's also too close to her daughter, and he's also an Avenger and everything. So now, so then in that case, I think she actually knew. I think that then if she's connected to Kingpin, then also can't put it past her to not be connected to Valentina as well. So then, in order to hire Valentina, in order to hire Yelena to go against Clint, she could have easily She could have easily contacted Valentina and asked her to send Yelena after Clint, which she would, because Valentina is the one with the direct line to Yelena, because she's the one that hired her. So that could easily happen too. So now she has connections to Kingpin. She's working with Kingpin, and then she also has like an actual side connection to Valentina as well. So again, Eleanor is not nearly as innocent as she would like you to think. So Jack may well just be like a really weird and at times kind of creepy guy, but then he might not be like actually villainous or evil. I mean, or he still might be, but he just might not be like the actual main villain or the main antagonist. Like he might just be too obviously creepy for his own good, which then gets him into, you know, troublesome situations. But then yeah, Eleanor might be the one who's actually a lot more secretive about it, and then who ends up actually being evil. So yeah. But yeah, that is pretty much that is pretty much all I can think about for now. And again, if I do think of anything else, then that will come up in my next in the recap for my next reaction. So rest assured, if and when I do come up with other theories or other thoughts that I haven't immediately picked up on in this video, then I will make sure to bring them up in the recaps for the next reaction. So that should be okay, and that should be fun. So yeah, a really great episode, really fun episode, really great episode, really great continuation of the story. Can't wait to see how we go from here. And next week is the finale too. Next week is the finale. This again, 6 episodes too. That is really short, and I think it's the same thing with Doctor Who as well. Doctor Who only really having like I think 6 episodes as well. So there was that. So yeah, really short kind of limited run series right here. So I mean, again, no idea if this is getting a season 2 or if it's getting like an actual movie continuation in the kind of near future or something, but either way, it's been really fun watching this so far, and the directors too, Bert and Bertie, they have been doing a really good job making this like a fun yet grounded kind of dramatic kind of series, and actually making these episodes and this story what it is, and actually adapting this from the comics into something loving and something lovable and something enjoyable and something really kind of, you know, something unique for the MCU as well. So feels really fun in that sense. So props to them, props to the directors, and then pretty much everyone involved in making the show what it is. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So that was Marvel's Hawkeye season 1 episode 5. So thank you guys as always so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Marvel's Hawkeye in the finale. Once again, full length reaction over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. And yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.